Have you ever wondered what would happen if you combine the mechanics of games like Rocket League and tennis simulators like 10S Forever and put them into a top-down roguelike game with elements of bullet hell? Me neither. But recently, when I was making a prototype for my game and testing different mechanics, I tried to add this mechanic. Initially, I had an idea to make a small top-down roguelike shooter that would attract with its unusual mechanics. I went through many ideas but selected 3 of the most interesting ones. So the first idea was the disabled mechanic. That's what I called it. It consisted of the main character being a wheelchair user who can only move with the recoil of his shotgun shots. The second character that came to my mind was a player with a huge hammer, like Mario in the 1981 Donkey Kong game, with which he could only kill enemies at close range. And finally, a player with a huge ball, which he can use to kill enemies. All of these mechanics were quite interesting and I have not seen any of them in any top-down roguelike games. But the mechanic with the ball seemed the coolest to me. There is something incredibly entertaining and exciting about it. It opens the possibility for many tactics and allows you to perceive the familiar top-down shooter genre in a different way. That's why I decided to take this mechanic as the basis for my roguelike game. Now, let's talk about the roguelike genre itself and why I chose it for my game. Since I don't want to develop this game for a long time and don't want to catch myself in production hell later, especially since I work on it completely alone, I want to increase the duration of the game experience for the player in different ways, without spending a lot of time on it, namely to increase replayability. And what is an extremely popular way to do this now? That's right, make a roguelike game. Now, the top-down roguelike is a very popular genre, and of course there's quite a lot of competition in it, because every year there are many interesting projects being released. But I believe that with such unusual mechanics and my performance as a developer, if I try to do everything right, then I think I will be able to attract the attention of potential players. There are many variations of roguelike games. Even if we narrow this circle to only top-down shooters, we will get a bunch of games with completely different mechanics. However, since in my game I want to follow the principle of the simpler the better, I will take as a basis everyone's favorite and probably the most popular roguelike, The Binding of Isaac. I myself played it a lot and I can say that its simplicity as well as mechanics brought it to perfection, making it truly an excellent and exciting game. So I have a lot that I could learn from the experience of this game. Having decided on the format of the game and the main mechanics, I began to create the main game loop. When I was testing the basic mechanics, I noticed that it was quite awkward to aim at the place where you want to kick the ball, since the player controls the character with the keyboard and has to aim with the mouse at the same time. And he has to either shoot randomly, roughly intuitively understanding where his cursor is on the screen, or try to keep track of 2 moving objects, the mouse and the character. And that's pretty overwhelming. So I came up with a simple solution to this, showing the trajectory of the ball with a white line when the player approaches it and is about to kick it. It was quite easy to implement, but while I was doing so, I came up with the idea of using this trajectory to also show the ricochet that the ball can make. However, I don't want to give this ability to the player right away. I think that initially the player will not see the bounces of the ball, but in the future I will make a number of items that will improve this trajectory line and the player will be able to see 1, 2 or more ricochets that the ball can potentially make. After that, I decided that I needed to create the very first basic enemies. Following the example of Binding of Isaac, the first enemy will simply follow the player, dealing damage by touching them. Initially, I introduced a super simple basic enemy without much artificial intelligence. The enemy was simply assigned a speed and given the player's direction so that he would slowly follow him. But then I quickly realized that this was boring and quite buggy, so I spent a little more time studying enemy AI systems in GameMaker and made these enemies, which are quite smart. They are good at finding the fastest way to the player, following him, going around all the walls, and they don't gather in one pile like previous ones. I will probably work on them in the future a little more, but for now I'm happy with how they came out. Then of course I added some player sprites with simple animations. I wanted the player to be kinda silly. I don't know, it's kinda funny to me. The game is about kicking the ball, and it would be funny if he didn't have any hands, and basically he doesn't even need them. Also, he kicks the ball with his funny, obscure, big leg, and that was like my decision to make it more cartoony. Then I added a few sounds. I might change them later on, but for now they work pretty well. And that's basically it. In this video I wanted to tell you how I came to my main idea and show how I work on a prototype and introduce the first mechanics. I'm already starting to work on creating level generation, so the next devlog will probably be dedicated to this. See you in the next videos.